Hey, this is Ralph. Welcome to a new update for my VR game. So last time I was talking about the scope of the game. It took me way too long to create this first level, and the solution I had last time was to maybe try out some kind of more arcade game mechanic. And the core mechanic of the game is definitely already quite good for trying out some more arcade gameplay. And if you are a first time watcher, the core mechanic is essentially you throw a disc, and as soon as you throw the disc, you teleport to a target location, and you also have to catch it while in the meantime avoiding obstacles in between and bouncing the disc against surfaces to avoid the obstacles. So yeah, I tried out this kind of more arcade level design, and it did work, but I was feeling like the whole exploration part was missing. And another thing that really slowed me down during the beginning stages of development is getting lost in the visual design. And yeah, so essentially I started all over again and abandoning even the polish of the beginning I was trying to do. And the main reason for me to start this early with polishing, or at least focusing on the visuals of the game, was I am developing this game publicly, which is something that makes it a bit better if you have something nice to show. And that is definitely also an advantage to have something like that that generates a bit more interest in people, instead of having this classical approach where you start with gray boxing, which is the idea that you don't focus on any visuals, you just focus on the gameplay, and you create these really ugly levels that are gray and white and just focus on the game mechanic. So that's what I did. I did create 4 new levels now, and each of these levels is now much more condensed, more focused on teaching the player just 1 or 2 concepts, which was also a realization I had from the first level, that I was introducing way too many ideas. And the start level, for example, now you just have to throw the disc and catch the disc, and the player learns, like at the beginning, just the core mechanic, which is the teleportation and avoiding the walls, and that's it. The first level just has these like really simple ideas. And the next level I did create was also a bounce level, meaning you learn that you can bounce the disc against certain walls, and it makes it much more easy for the player to realize what he can do and what he can't do. And then the next level is a trigger level, or more of a puzzle kind of mechanic level, where you learn, okay, if I bounce the disc against certain surfaces, you can then unlock the path, you can unlock puzzles. And that is also a really interesting mechanic. And I'm still not finished with this kind of level, and I will still have to try out different ideas and really see which kind of these concepts are really necessary for the game and which are not that fun. But now I do have much more flexibility, because these levels are really focused on each other, or they're not so much dependent on each other, and I can switch out one level for the other. Yeah, the last kind of level I did was like a self bounce level, where you, instead of catching the disc at the target location, you can only bounce the discs, meaning you now have the bounce surface in your hand, and you now need to aim your surface so the disc bounces away from you, and you have now much more control over the bounce. But also I'm taking away some control from the player, and it's a really fun thing to do, and I will definitely explore this more. Also, I have some more ideas for future levels, which is especially focusing more on puzzle ideas. And also the player needs to decide more where he has to throw the disc, and giving him more choice, which also makes it a bit more difficult. But also having, for example, different waypoints he has to choose between throwing the disc, and I think there's a lot of potential there, just making the game a bit less linear, and also the triggers changing, for example, different stuff. I think there's a lot of ideas I can explore, and yeah, but I still have to look at the scope of the game. I am quite confident now with focusing on gray boxing and just doing the simple level design that I can do a lot of levels within the next 4 to 6 weeks. I'm quite confident even that I can do 80% of the game. And if you think about it, the game, hopefully I try to make it like an hour or 1.5 hours in terms of how long it takes to complete the game for the average player. So there are, if you're talking about the average, there will also be some people who complete it in less time or in more time, but around 1.5 hours is like my kind of idea right now. These 4 levels take about maybe 15 minutes to complete. So yeah, I'm quite confident that I can complete like the gameplay until, let's say, March, and then I will focus again more on the visuals. I will still continue to work on the visuals right now, even in sometimes, some days. But I will not do it in the levels. I will create some kind of a separate scene inside of Unity, and then I do some kind of artwork tests in there. So yeah, that's the plan. And this is also the update for this week. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please subscribe to this channel. I'm also planning to do a closed alpha test in March. So if you want to do that, you can sign up in the description down below. I would be really happy to get feedback from other people. It's always helping me a lot. And the last thing is, if you want to learn more about Unity, I'm also creating some tutorials. I hopefully will do some new tutorial next week. You can also check out my past introduction, beginner tutorials on how to create VR games. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and we will see each other next week. Bye bye.